Oh, that was just so great. So glad to see everyone here this evening. I am Reverend Anthony McCarr, Senior Minister of this spiritual community.
And I'm Megan Ross, Director of Religious Education and Engagement.
And on this beautiful Christmas Eve, we welcome you to West Shore Unitarian Universalist Church, where we are building a beloved community that changes lives. Whoever you are, wherever you come from, whomever you love, you are welcome here.
Tonight, we celebrate the holiday season with rituals of song and story and candlelight. It's good to be together, people of all ages, to deepen into the spiritual meanings of this time, of glad tidings, possibilities, and peace.
Later this evening at 7 o'clock, we will have our first ever jazz Christmas Eve service. And then at 9 o'clock, we will have our traditional service of lessons and carols. These are two other opportunities to put the stress and the distraction aside and remember what this holiday season is really all about. And then on December 26th, our Sunday worship will be a service of readings, reflections, and songs on how to harvest joy, even in the toughest of times. This service will be led by numerous lay ministers in the Unitarian Universalist Association's lay ministry program, and one of those being our very own Barbara Walker. On this Sunday, the day right after Christmas, stay home in your jammies with your hot cup of coffee or cocoa or whatever that may be, and plug into West Shore's worship live stream to enjoy a meaningful service. It's been pre-recorded, so there won't be any in-house worship for this Sunday. Enjoy worship from home. And Megan?
And now, please take this moment to put all cell phones on vibrate or to silence them completely and put them in their most reverent position. I invite you to open your hearts and to enter fully into the spirit and mystery of this holiday season. Once again, welcome. You know, it just wouldn't be Christmas Eve here at West Shore without hearing our junior choir sing How I Love Christmas Eve, written by our own Joe Schaefer. This year, we knew it was unlikely that our choir would be able to sing in the service due to COVID, but we just couldn't bear to give up this beloved tradition. But what could we do? How could we have our song and stay safe? Well, Joe Schaefer and our tech person, Christine Salante, and I thought about it, and we thought about it, and we thought some more. And at last we thought, well, what if we had a virtual choir? So with the help of some really amazing singers and the magic of technology, I am so pleased to introduce you to the 2021 virtual junior choir singing How I Love Christmas Eve.
In the sparkling eyes of little children, like the moonlight glistening on the snow, there's a spirit tonight, shining clear, shining bright, a spirit for all to know. It's a night that's not like any other. Feel the keenness, anticipation grow. May its joy never leave. How I love Christmas Eve, how brightly its spirit glows. It started in a manger 2,000 years ago, when through the night the stars shone bright, a message of peace in its glow. Christmas stockings hanging from the mantle, gifts adorned with brightly colored bows. May its joy never leave. How I love Christmas Eve, how brightly its spirit glows. sing their special music. See their joyful faces all aglow. Hear the Spirit tonight, shining clear, shining bright, a Spirit for all to know. It's a night that's not like any other. Feel a keen anticipation grow. May its joy never leave. How I love Christmas Eve. How bright its spirit glows. Come celebrate the story of Mary's peaceful child. A symbol of enduring love that makes us stand in awe. May our dreams that fill with wonder, may the gift of our love forever grow. May the joy never leave. How I love Christmas Eve. How bright its spirit glows.
Of Luke chapter 2, call us deeper into the spirit and joy of this holiday season.
Those days that there went out a decree from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be taxed, and all went to be taxed, every one into his own city.
And Joseph also went up from Galilee, out of the city of Nazareth into Judea, unto the city of David, which is called Bethlehem, because he was of the house and lineage of David, to be taxed with Mary, his espoused wife, being great with child. And so it was that while they were there, the days were accomplished that she would be delivered. And she brought forth her firstborn son, and wrapped him in swaddling clothes, and laid him in a manger, because there was no room for them in the inn.
And there were in the same county shepherds abiding in the field, keeping watch over their flock by night. And lo, the angel of the Lord came upon them, and the glory of the Lord shone round about them, and they were sore afraid. And the angel said unto them, Fear not, for behold, I bring you good tidings of great joy, which shall be to all people. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, which is Christ the Lord.
And this shall be a sign unto you. Ye shall find the babe wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger. And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of the heavenly hosts, praising God and saying, Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill to all.
Now let us reaffirm the value of community by turning to each other here in the sanctuary. Let us greet each other as feels mutually comfortable. For some, a namaste gesture at a distance will do. For others, maybe an elbow bump. Let us greet each other now.
And now please rise as you are willing and able. You are welcome to hum along with our first carol of the evening, Deck the Hall, number 235. Again, please rise as you're willing and able. As singing, but this is better than last year. There was nobody humming, even humming in this space, so it's great to be here. I've got a story for you right now from Frank Rivas, one of my ministry colleagues. It's entitled A Cautionary Christmas Tale. He writes, "My little sister Renee, who was 10 years younger than I, well, although we grew up to love one another, our relationship was not really an easy one. In fact, when she was in kindergarten, I considered her to be the most obnoxious child on the planet. So I decided to get her a lump of coal for Christmas. Now, I know that people generally consider it Santa's responsibility to give lumps of coal to bad little boys and girls, but I had learned over the years not to trust Santa's judgment. I'd seen it over and over again. The old man went easy on little kids. So the responsibility fell to me. I searched the yellow pages, went to the nearest coal yard, picked out an exceptionally large chunk, wrapped it nicely in tissue paper, put a bow around it, placed it under the Christmas tree. Our family tradition encouraged recipients to lift, shake, and guess at the contents as soon as a gift was placed under the tree. Renee was fascinated. What gift could weigh so much? She never guessed, of course, and her excitement grew daily. Christmas morning was governed by a family tradition. The gifts were sorted into 5 piles, then one at a time, going around the circle as many times as necessary, we opened our gifts for everyone to see. Renee opened mine first. As she unwrapped the ribbon, the paper, the box, the tissue, her excitement grew. My excitement grew too. The moment of reckoning was at hand. From her first glance at the coal, still cradled in the tissue, she loved it. She screamed with delight. She hugged me profusely. How was I to know that only a week earlier in her kindergarten class, she had learned how to grow colorful crystals on coal? How was I to know that this would be her favorite gift? There is a moral to this story, my friends. Watch out for this season. There is a spirit in this air that can turn even the most vindictive of thoughts into good deeds. And now we will have our second hymn. Let's again hum together. Please rise as you are willing and able. Number 246, O Little Town of Bethlehem.
In Charles Dickens' classic tale, A Christmas Carol, we encounter the nephew of Ebenezer Scrooge, Fred, who says, "But I am sure I have always thought of Christmas time as the only time I know of in the long calendar of the year when men and women seem by one consent to open their shut-up hearts freely and to think of people below them as if they really were fellow passengers to the grave and not another race of creatures bound on other journeys. We are fellow passengers to the grave, Sometimes we are the wise people led by the star, and sometimes we are the refugee family who just had a baby, and we see holiness in that new life. But we are completely vulnerable and afraid, and our need is overwhelming. Sometimes we are the one, sometimes we are the other, but always fellow passengers. The offering tonight will benefit the minister's discretionary fund, which is administered in confidence for emergency assistance for our fellow passengers in life. At this time of year, the need is especially great. Please give generously.
Our story for this evening is called Papa Panov's Special Christmas by Leo Tolstoy, adapted for chancel drama by George B. Miller and Jansen Wendell. It was Christmas Eve, and although it was still afternoon, lights had begun to appear in the shops and houses of the little Russian village, for the short winter day was nearly over. Old Papa Panov, the village shoemaker, stepped outside his shop to take one last look around. The sounds of happiness, the bright lights, and the faint but delicious smells of Christmas cooking reminded him of past Christmas times. Papa Panov lived alone. His wife had died, and his children had grown up and moved away. His usually cheerful face looked sad now. But he went back indoors with a firm step, made a pot of coffee, and settled into his big armchair. Papa Panov did not read often, but tonight he pulled down the big family Bible. He read again the Christmas story, how Mary and Joseph, tired by their journey to Bethlehem, found no room for them at the inn, so that Mary's little baby was born in the cowshed. Oh dear, if only they had come here. I would have given them my bed, and I would have covered the baby with my patchwork quilt to keep him warm. He read about the wise men who came to see the baby Jesus, bringing him splendid gifts, and Papa Panov grew sad. I have no gift I could give him. Then his face brightened. He put down the Bible and reached for a small, dusty box and opened it. Inside was a perfect pair of tiny leather shoes. Papa Panov smiled with satisfaction. Yes, they were just as good as he had remembered, the very best shoes he'd ever made. Papa thought, I would give the baby Jesus those shoes. He was feeling tired now, and the more he read, the sleepier he became, and in no time at all, Papa Panov was fast asleep. And as he slept in his chair, he dreamed. He dreamed that someone was in his room, and he knew just at once who that person was. It was Jesus. Jesus said, "You have been wishing you could see me, Papa Panov. Look for me tomorrow. It will be Christmas Day, and I will visit you. But look carefully, for you won't know who I am or what I look like." And then Jesus left. When at last Papa Panov awoke, the bells were ringing out and a thin light was filtering through the windows. "Bless my soul, it's Christmas Day!" He stood up and stretched. Then he was filled with happiness as he remembered his dream. This would be a very special Christmas after all, for Jesus was coming to visit him. How would he appear? Would he be a little baby as he was that first Christmas? Would he be a grown man, a carpenter, maybe a great king? He must watch carefully the whole day through so that he would know when Jesus came. "I'll make myself some coffee and watch for Jesus in the street. It's deserted and no one is awake yet. Oh wait, there is someone. It's the street sweeper. He looks as miserable and dirty as ever." Papa Panov opened the shop door, letting in a thin stream of cold air. Come in, Papa said. "Have some hot coffee to keep off the cold." The sweeper looked up, surprised. He was only too glad to put down his broom and come into the warm room. The hot coffee warmed his hands as he drank. Papa watched him with satisfaction, but every now and then his eyes would stray to the window. He didn't want to miss his special visitor. The sweeper said, "Are you expecting someone?" So Papa told him about his dream. "Well, I hope he comes. You've given me a bit of Christmas cheer I never expected to have. I think you deserve to have your dream come true." And then the street sweeper left. When he had gone, Papa put on cabbage soup for his dinner, and then he went to the door and looked up and down the street. Someone else was coming. A young parent walked so slowly and quietly, staying close to the walls of the shops and houses. She looked very tired and was carrying something. As she drew nearer, he could see that it was a baby wrapped in a thin blanket. There was such sadness in her face and in the face of the little baby. Papa was worried about them. Papa went to the door. He said, "Won't you come in? You both need to warm yourselves and get some rest." Papa said, "I'll warm some milk for the baby. I've had children of my own. I can feed her for you." Papa noticed her feet are so cold. She needs some shoes. The young woman said, "I can't afford any shoes. I'm a single parent and I'm on my way to the next village to find work." A thought flashed through Papa Panov's mind. He remembered the little shoes he had looked at last night, but he had been saving those for Jesus. But he looked again at the cold little feet and made up his mind. And he gave the shoes to her. "Try these on," he said. "Oh, look, they're beautiful, a perfect fit." The young parent said, "You have been so kind to us. May all your Christmas wishes come true." And she didn't have much to give, but she gave him a small paper doll as a gift. But Papa Panov was starting to wonder if his very special Christmas wish would come true. Maybe he'd missed his visitor. There were plenty of people around, but they were all faces that he recognized. Papa hurried indoors to fetch them soup and a slice of bread, and he went back outdoors in case he missed the special stranger. But before he knew it, people were home and indoors by now, and no one was in the streets. He sat in his armchair. Maybe it had just been a dream after all. Maybe Jesus had not come. Then all at once he heard the tinkle of a doorbell. He knew he was no longer alone in the room. All the faces of all the people who had visited him were waving at him. "Don't you see me, Papa Panov? I am here." No, over here, Papa." Papa said, "Who are you? Where are you?" Then another voice answered, It was the voice from his dream, the voice of Jesus. Jesus came into the room and said, "I was hungry and you fed me. I was naked and you clothed me. I was cold and you warmed me. I was a part of everyone you helped and welcomed today." Then all was quiet and still, and Jesus left. Only the sound of the big clock ticking, tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock. Great peace and happiness seemed to fill the room, filling Papa's heart until he wanted to just burst out singing and laughing and dancing with joy. And Papa said, so he did come after all. And that is the end of our story. Thank you, Papa.
All our participants. And now we turn towards our candle lighting ritual. Let the following prayerful words prepare our hearts and set our intentions.
Tonight, when the days are short and the sun is dim and the nights seem never to end.
In this world where hatred and fear, suspicion and violence, greed and malice still shadow human existence,
we come together, as is our custom, to sing the songs of old and recount the old tales which speak of the birth of the light-bearer,
of a holy child born at the midnight of the year, who is every child, a holy child, who over the millennia has symbolized all those people of whatever age and tradition who have come into our world,
reminding all who hear of the great truth that greater than hate is love,
and greater than fear is faith,
and greater than despair is hope.
We gather here at the midnight of the year to give thanks to the light.
We come seeking to make the light of love and hope and joy burn in our lives,
that the world may be brighter by our living in it. And now we invite you to light your candles. The clicker is on the bottom. And once we have all done that, we're going to sing together Silent Night. And I invite you to stay seated and once again to hum along as we sing Silent Night, number 251. Now I invite you to turn off your candles. Please rise as you are willing and able. Let us now hum together, Joy to the World. Number 245, Joy to the World.
Chalice extinguishing words. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry with us until we meet again.
Just a reminder, please be sure to drop off your tea light as you're heading out of the sanctuary. And also, as you go into the rotunda, there are all of these goodie bags that our Religious Education Committee has made for you. So please be sure to pick up one of those on your way out. And now, as we go out into our Christmas Eve and the rest of our holiday season, take with you these words from theologian Howard Thurman. When the song of the angels is stilled, when the star in the sky is gone, when the kings and the princes are back home, when the shepherds are back with their flock, the work of Christmas begins to find the lost, to heal the broken, to feed the hungry, to release the prisoner, to rebuild the nations, to bring peace among brothers, to make music in the heart. So may it be. Go in peace.